D-Day in France, stage is set for the final round of voting. Ballots have opened across the nation and people will soon decide who will become the next president of France. The choices between two leaders with starkly different ideologies, incumbent president and centrist leader Emmanuel Macron and far-right leader Marine Le Pen. The presidential debate was proof that they differ in almost everything. Macron is looking to secure a second consecutive term, something that has not happened in the past 2 decades. Under Macron, France has seen many crises, unpredictable and predictable ones: yellow vest protests, COVID-19 pandemic, the ongoing war in Europe. So it will be interesting to see if the French people put their trust in Macron. Also, this is Le Pen's third and last try for her presidency. So for her, the victory is important because her political future depends on it. Her position as chief of National Rally Party might be at risk. So French citizens living abroad have already started queuing up to vote for the elections back at home. In Canada's Montreal, expats believe that French elections are bound to have international impact, especially in the European Union.
C'était important pour moi de venir ici aujourd'hui parce que ça fait longtemps que j'habite à Montréal, ça fait 11 ans maintenant. J'ai aussi beaucoup d'amis et beaucoup de familles qui sont encore en France et qui vivent le quotidien de la politique française, qui ont un impact. Puis j'ai aussi 2 enfants qui peut-être vont aller en France un jour pour vivre, ou même moi-même. Donc la politique française a un impact international.
Now, opinion polls show Macron with a solid and slight growing lead, but experts say that a surprise Le Pen victory cannot be entirely ruled out. This is because there are a high number of voters that are yet to decide on who they will vote for. Many are unsure if they will vote at all. Le Pen has been trying to woo the left base. Days ahead of today's voting, she was seen toning down some of her staunch far-right policies. Meanwhile, just near the Eiffel Tower, workers were seen building a stage for Emmanuel Macron for his scheduled address to supporters today. Now, for more on this, Elijah De Zayas, veteran war correspondent and analyst from Paris, is joining us live. Thank you so much for joining us. Now, to begin with, as I mentioned, trends tell us that Macron is leading in the opinion polls. However, as it has been mentioned earlier as well, a win for Macron is not certain at this point, and that is because of the high number of undecided voters. What are your expectations?
Thank you for having me. Indeed, what you said is perfectly right. The weight is shifted toward the centrist and those who did not decide who to vote for, because they are caught between a bad candidate and a worse candidate. So neither candidates are suitable for the majority of the voters. This is why selecting the far right wing is very unsuitable for many people, and having Macron returning to power again is also not the best idea for many French. This is why they are caught between Macron and Le Pen. And as also you rightly mentioned, it will have an impact on the international arena, particularly joining Europe or leaving Europe, because this is what Le Pen wants, to leave Europe, and also the relationship with NATO, with the US, toward the war in Ukraine, the relationship with Russia. All that will be affected on the international arena, but that is a bit of less concern to the French voters, who are more focused on the domestic problems and issues. Yes, Macron has the upper hand, but the difference is expected to be extremely short and not that high between Macron and Le Pen.
Absolutely. It is a tight race. Now, on that note, we have seen that Emmanuel Macron has been criticized for being out of touch with reality and also focusing not on the domestic issues and making the Russia-Ukraine war a centerpiece of his campaign. On the other side, we've seen Le Pen focus on issues like retirement age and purchasing power. We've also seen her soften her stance on some of her staunch far-right policies. Do you think both the contenders have effectively been able to communicate their policies to the people of France and address the pertinent issues here?
Well, I don't think they have, because, as I said, the French are interested in the retirement, in the security, in immigration, in healthcare, all these issues. They are less concerned about what's happening outside France to the certain point. I think both came out with a debate saying, I can't say I've won, but I can't say I've lost. So both of them did not offer a lot to the French voters. This is why the French people are very concerned about who's going to be their next president. If they vote to Macron and they don't want it, but they don't want Le Pen, this is the dilemma they are facing. And we're talking about today, both candidates are looking to dig into the pot of the leftists, because the leftists got around 20% to 25%, and everybody is trying to get a share of the leftists because they both are equal. 12 million voted to Macron and 11 million voted to Le Pen on the first round. So this is why it is very tight.
Right. Mr. De Zayas, thank you so much for joining us with all your inputs on this. WION is now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the news on the move.